Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Drop Frames. It's been a while. How is everyone? Is everyone good? Oh, Ko got he got a headset. We got big changes here. He's muted though.
Wow.
I do have a headset. Yes,
Oh
I've got a
my
headset
God.
on today.
Oh my!
I noticed
God.
I was already bleeding through with the audio, so decided to stop a little early.
Oh my God! It's a brand new show.
God.
It is.
It's a brand new show. Zeke's
Damn it.
confused. I don't know what's happening. What?
I can't hear you.
I don't know. He's desperately searching for something. Okay, we got to hold on a minute. JERICHO, how's it going in the meantime? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Great. Thanks for the nice glasses.
Nice.
There we go. Solid intro. First time I had seen that.
Look
Thanks
at
for
it.
including me. You gave me a zoom in that wasn't even planned.
True.
But, deserved. I think so.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's good.
It's been a while. It's been so long. In fact, I don't remember who's better or lesser Co.
I am lesser Co right now.
Oh, you're currently.
beat me. It was like Mortal Kombat, wasn't it?
Or something last time?
We've done.
Oh, maybe.
I think we've done Mortal Kombat, and I think we've done Rochambeau. I think we've had 2 competitions.
I know is I think I'm the lesser of the two, but
Okay, I think that's correct. I thought the joke was dead at this point. However, we could. Okay, it's dead. Great. I'm not even going to continue that. It's dead. The joke's dead. Zeke took it out back and killed it. It fought back a little bit. That's why its glasses are broke.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
That's the storyline. Yeah.
if only I
just
could
ask
grow
my chat,
facial
man.
hair.
Says my
I
chat,
feel left
I'm
out.
pro at killing jokes, man. I kill jokes like all day.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like half of my stream is just me fucking up something I thought was funny.
That was my nickname in high school or middle school was the joke killer. Like people hated me. They thought I was not funny. I had no friends. It was really rough in middle school. So luckily I sort of grew out of it, but I can relate.
All right.
Relate.
Starting the show off on a high note here with Jerry.
I was relentlessly bullied from
Are we telling middle school stories? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I guess that's the theme. That's the theme of this week.
Well,
That's how it
when I
goes.
got to middle school, all those many years ago,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to get zits and braces at the same time. It was great.
nice.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, Beavis and Butthead was at the height of its popularity in 92, 93. So around then, that's when I went to junior high. And I happened to look just like Butthead, which was awesome. I had the zits, I had the braces, the poofy hair. My head was far too big for my body.
Nice.
It was an amazing time in junior high school.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
Co, any middle school stories?
Oh, I was miserable for most of my school, and not just like miserable, but like I was a miserable person in a lot of ways as
Yeah.
well. I deserved a lot of what I got. So yeah, I didn't really learn how to human until early college, and it's still an ongoing thing.
Dude, learning how to human's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, some
Yeah.
people still, it's rough out there. It's rough out there.
How were you in
Anyways,
junior high?
I went to a private school, so it was the type of school where there weren't really cliques and we didn't really have like the nerds. Like no one made fun of
Everyone was. The
it was
nerd.
What are you talking
We were
about?
all the
I
nerds. It was weird.
What junior high did
And
you
no
go to?
one is
'Cause I went.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I went to a Quaker private school, and there were definitely cliques.
Really?
And there were definitely nerds. Like every school, I refuse to believe you didn't have a group of nerds. Maybe you just weren't in the know. But
Well,
your high school had cliques.
We also only had probably 40 kids in my class.
Never mind. What the fuck?
Yeah. It was small. That's why there were no cliques, because everyone like had to literally work and talk to everyone, or else
Ew.
it was just boring. So
I was at the opposite. I went to a private school, and it was basically just cliques.
oh
Yeah.
Like that was it was only cliques essentially.
Wait a minute. All three of you are private school guys?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only public boy in it? All right.
Yeah. You are, maybe you're lesser, and maybe you get the crown this week. This episode. That's how that goes. Maybe.
You got to ride a bus.
Maybe.
I'm jealous.
I know,
It's
right? I
true.
always wanted to go to public school.
I didn't get to ride it. Yeah,
the entire time.
my brother was public school his entire life. I was private school my entire life. So, and we both turned out pretty much the same. So, doesn't seems like it didn't matter all that much. But anyways, now that we've gone down that walk down memory lane, let's jump into some news. Let's talk about video games. Let's get on with the show. It's been a while, so some of this stuff is going to be quote old news, but we still haven't really talked about it too much. I guess we could start off with the Xbox Discord rumor for 10 Billy, as they say in that's
Billy.
that's the lingo in the world of acquisitions.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it like I don't. Maybe I'm just being the middleman here, writing the middle line, but like people were pretty upset about this idea of Microsoft buying Discord, with the reasoning being like, look what they did to Skype. But my response to that is like, Skype was always shit. Like I didn't ever think Skype had a good period, but maybe I was the outlier there. I don't know. People are kind of worried about them just straight up destroying what Discord is. But in a lot of ways, I feel like Discord is like done with trying to make money. And so they're just trying to like sell it off at this point to get, those advancements that they want to work on and get the cash influx to actually work and build on stuff. And if we can see like, I was talking with chat the other day, I think it would be incredible if Discord on my PC and Discord on my Xbox was 1-in-1. And if I like logged into Xbox, the itme Nation community was right there and I could invite someone who's on it. Like that would be incredible. And I could see that working for all sizes of, friend groups, whether it's 4 or 400, or 4,000 at that point.
Discord already has that built-in game invite system, right? Already baked in for certain games, so you can invite people in your community already.
Yeah.
If you just removed the fear of having Microsoft come in and fuck up something, which I get,
sure.
But I also don't think like people pointing, I agree with you, pointing to Skype, not a good example. I also don't think pointing to Mixer is a good example.
No.
Right? Mixer was a small product trying to compete against established YouTube and Twitch. Discord is the de facto VoIP service for the vast majority, even outside of gamers, like just casual group discussions. It's still not there with my mom, right? But it's so like I'm less worried about them fucking up the product, and I'm convinced that they're going to do what they did with Minecraft. They're going to buy it, they're going to touch it a little bit, and then they're going to leave it alone and let it just do its thing.
Yeah. One would hope, at least.
Yeah.
Co,
I've heard that term used so often. I have to look it up. I've used VoIP, VoIP, but I've never understoed like
voice over internet protocol.
Yeah, it's voice.
Is that what it is?
Voice over IP. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna look it up. Thank you.
There you go.
I know.
Information.
It's one of those things that I've just used all my not all my life, but all my gaming life, and never knew like what it stood for. So
yeah,
cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Zeke, does the Discord Microsoft potential acquisition, does that do anything to you? You're mostly kind of outside of the console ecosystem, I would say. And spend most of your time on the PC. So does that worry you at all, or just whatever? Cool. Congrats to them.
Nah, it doesn't really affect me until it affects me. You know what I'm saying? Like until it if they start like messing with how Discord works and how it like functions, it's not gonna really bother me or move me one way or the other.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is like a little bit more in line with the whole idea of Microsoft making their shit available as widely as possible? So most of their upcoming titles are available on PC as well as on Xbox, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking like Sea of Thieves, if you have this split community that's pretty healthy, or Call of Duty or something like that, that's pretty healthy across two things, having Discord baked into Windows and Xbox, so you have that as your default, like there is no Xbox Live comms. It is now Discord on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best of both worlds. I want that. It makes it easier to play with my friends.
Totally.
So
yeah. It exactly makes it easier to go from the PC to the Xbox. When you talk about all this like cross-platform nonsense, Sony will be the outlier there, where it's like, oh fuck, like how do we get Discord on Sony?
Yep.
Right? Like at some points, Microsoft is going to have so much when it comes to like Game Pass and like everything in that ecosystem from PC and console that Sony's just going to be like the exclusive system where you buy it to play Sony exclusives, and that's potentially it, right? Like it could be a little bit. I would be a little bit scared as like a PlayStation owner at this point if this Discord thing comes true.
Do you think that Sony cares though? Don't they own like the majority of the market share
at the moment,
outside of the US, right?
From the last gen, they definitely do. Yeah.
Oh, we don't know with PS5 stuff. You're right, and new consoles or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Co, what about you? What about Discord and potentially buying it and all that?
I'm not too concerned. I mean, as long as they don't change the base functionality of Discord, which I think is in a pretty good place. It's basically the only thing that it does, or it's the only thing doing on the scale that it does what it does well. So as long as they keep that up, and they don't go too crazy with it, I think it's fine.
Yeah. I think.
Wait, Discord for Business competing against Slack because we already have Microsoft, whatever the
garbage.
Yeah, Teams.
Right.
Pretty
So
bad.
what if they're just like, take that? Just Discord Business is now, a video. I don't know. I don't use Slack. Do you guys use Slack, or have you used it?
Yeah.
I don't. I just know. Is it just text channels?
Only for this show. Like only for this group, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Slack. The thing with Slack is it does a lot, and it's really easy to like customize how you want it to, but it's also wildly expensive.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing with that. If they were to actually try to do a competitor to it using Discord, it would probably be separate. I'm thinking I'm hoping they keep Discord for gamers.
Yeah.
Gamers. But at the same time, they may grow it out or use the technology as a foundation for another technology, maybe, or something like that.
I have a question for you guys for ease of use for like someone like me who I use Discord and Slack only to like communicate with like person to person or group, like that kind of stuff. I don't use it for much else than that.
Mm-hmm.
What does Slack do better than Discord? Because I would much rather like just have everything in Discord, but there are certain things or certain people that want to use Slack over Discord, mostly business wise.
Right. I think that's the distinction is that Slack just has better tools for business, whereas Discord has better tools for, I hate saying gamers, but for gamers. Like it's built into
it's easier to use for gamers. Absolutely.
I think the difference that was explained to me as somebody who doesn't use Slack is that Slack is more good for conversation and threads, and Discord is like an IRC channel where it's like if you're not staring at it during the time of the conversation, once the text is off your screen, the likelihood of you going back to it and using any of it is very small. Versus like Slack is like, here's your info, use it and you can respond better.
Yeah.
But another big thing for that's important to mention when comparing the two is Discord is much more of like a consumer oriented product, where Slack is much more of like a business related product. Like somebody just said in my chat, there's much better documentation for Slack. There's far more add-ons. There's more integrations on a public scale in terms of like business related things that can be plugged into it. It's kind of they cater to different audiences and they have different functions in their different like spheres.
Yeah. Also, as far as I know, Slack does not have a video or voice component, whereas Discord obviously does. So that's kind of a bigger deal. Like Slack is there to get you into a Zoom call, right? Like you are sent links in Slack to join a call, whereas in Discord, it's like, hey, I'll just give you a call right now.
Slack has voice now.
Oh, it does? Yeah. Okay. I did not know that. Maybe that's part of their premium plan.
Slack has video and voice. Oh, we don't use any of that.
Yeah, we don't use it at all. I've never even looked into that. Or if it's part of their like free, their free package. So I can call Zeke right now, but I don't think I can video call as I'm looking at this. It must be part of their like premium package or something. I don't know. I think Slack was first to market when it comes to Slack versus Teams, right? Like that's why Slack is so early. It's so engrossed in like the San Francisco world is that it was just first to market. I think. I
thought I don't know if it was first to market, but it definitely got in with all of the techies as like it was one of those startup babies that everybody wanted to see succeed. So
it was
in the right place at the right time, regardless of who was first.
Totally.
It was also just a lot better than Teams. Like I personally don't.
Better,
I personally don't use Teams myself, but I've spoken to people that use it, especially for their jobs regularly, and they say it's nightmarish.
Yeah.
It's the Lotus Notes of text-based team communication.
Yeah. I think I saw like this morning, and chat's gonna have to tell me the capabilities of this if you guys know. I think you can now DM anyone on Slack as of this morning, which is like a pretty big deal when it comes to that. Because then it's more like Discord than like Slack, from my understanding, is that it's contained within that one company Slack, whereas Discord's just global.
Can I just say real quick, my chat has erupted with like two different sides. I feel like there's a battlefield with two different sides. Teams is fine. Teams is garbage. Teams is okay now. Teams used to be like, oh my lord, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinionation on Teams.
Hey, look, I'd love to still be using IRC. All right. I would prefer IRC.
I'd still be on XP if I could.
Give me IRC any day of the week. I'll go join some QuakeNet and hang out, ride the server splits. It'd be great. Steal Ops.
Maybe Teams has gotten a lot better.
Listen, we're going next tonight. I'll see you in Vent. Right?
Exactly. Vent. Old school Vent for sure.
Ventrilo. Oh man.
I think Vent still exists in some capacity. Like
it does.
Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of the whole Discord thing. We'll see if it actually comes true. It's still rumor at this point. Microsoft was not out there claiming that it was true or false at all. And it might be someone else entirely. I think that's just mostly an evaluation of Discord at the end of the day for 10 billion, which kind of seems like a lot, but when you factor into the idea that people buy companies like that for the information that they have, not necessarily for the actual product, makes a lot of sense when you think about how many people right now are chatting on Discord about certain things and how many companies would love to have that information to do whatever the fuck they want with it. Plan ahead, see what's going to start trending, etc. Oh, nice. That effect is back. I love it.
Oh, nice.
Fuck?
I wish that would work on all cameras. I wish
I want that as a transition.
Yeah.
I need that as a transition effect.
Like little glitchiness.
I love it.
It's a good freeze though.
Yeah.
Good freeze.
Oh, that is. I like that.
Yeah.
You're having a lot of fun, it looks like.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks to John, an interesting statistic. 2020 Q4 from Microsoft Teams has roughly 200 million users.
Holy shit.
They may take technology from Discord, but they certainly wouldn't rebrand anything.
Damn.
So apparently now, especially, it seems to be doing all right.
Yeah.
At least. So that's a lot of people.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Someone also said in my chat, I didn't know this, Salesforce bought Slack for 27 billion, to put in perspective. So.
Oh, but Salesforce, that is such a I mean, I guess for Microsoft too, it makes sense, right? But I was like, Salesforce is the pinnacle, like of the tech sector in terms of like
size
like a Titan. So, right. Yeah. You know, so like, it's not shocking to me that they would go in and take the big tech sector, like communication platform, similar to the way Microsoft would buy this up and rolled into Game Pass or some shit like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think there was a couple bits of news in the past 9 months or so that was definitely along the lines of like, yeah, Xbox is going to be buying shit, right? It's not just going to be Bethesda. They're going to be getting some more things. Discord is definitely not one that I had considered, but hey, if Microsoft is trying to win themselves back into kind of the fight, so to speak, of Sony versus Xbox, which they just absolutely got trounced in last generation, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a long couple years for them, huh?
It has. It's been rough. I think it's very interesting to me to look at the past 2 or 3 months, and it seems like more recently, it seems like every day, but almost every week, Xbox is like, here's a big announcement of something. Like, we've got a billion games coming to Game Pass, or now we've got EA games coming to Game Pass. Now there's a rumor that Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass. You're literally going to buy every fucking game from Game Pass one day. And Sony's like, hey, we bought Evo. Does anyone care? We bought Evo, guys. Remember that company that kind of got screwed by Mr. Wizard because he did a bunch of nefarious shit? Like, remember that, guys? We bought him. And then people are like, anyways, Discord, 10 billion, right? Like, they just move on with the conversation. It's been interesting to see all that. I'm curious to see where we go from here. in a year where I think we're starting to see like the ramp up of COVID again when it comes to delays. So I don't know how many other like big releases we're going to have for the rest of the year, but there's already been a bunch more things delayed this past month. And I'm
so bored, JP. I need games.
Yeah. Well, we still got some, right? We got Outriders here in a couple days. We've got some potential stuff for later this year, but
Disco Elysium full voice acting pack.
Yeah.
Evil Genius 2.
There's some games. They're not the AAA. I guess Horizon Zero Dawn is maybe the biggest game, right? Like for later this year. Horizon Zero Dawn 2. And then if
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous.
True. Halo Infinite might, if that comes out, if that ships this year.
If it ships.
Yeah. If it actually ships.
Nier will be a lot of fun. It's shaping up to look pretty cool, especially for people like me that didn't play the first one or the original.
Yeah, that's nice.
They're making a direct sequel to it?
Because they're remaking Nier.
Yeah, they're remaking the first one.
It's time for me to play the game and see why there's so much fucking lewd photos on my timeline of this blind girl.
Oh no, that's Nier
Automata.
Automata.
Even more. Oh, that's Nier Automata. That's the second one. So basically, there was.
I'm not
Nier
playing the original.
Replicant.
Fuck it.
Oh no, there was Nier Replicant, and it was like the old one. And then there's Nier Automata, and that's the one that you know. And now you know how they just remade Demon Souls.
Yeah,
they're remaking the original Nier. So like totally new graphics, totally new story. Like they're basically just taking that and making it a game that would come out today. Yeah, it's actually looking really good. Like it's looking
be in it.
No, but another even lewder girl is.
Yes, there's the lewds continue.
I'm back in
in the Nier world.
We got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see. No, Nier Automata.
Other
one, Automata was like I saw everybody play it when it first came out, and I was like, this doesn't look like the type of game I would normally play. But I have grown as a gamer over time, and now I kind of want to give it a shot.
It's worth it, man. As someone who held out for a very long time, it's worth it.
Well, I was gonna say you can like the new one comes out, the remake comes out at the end of next month. You can do the remake and then just go right into Automata. You're doing like 1 and 2, Booda Boom.
Also,
Booba Boom even.
It's very true. I believe Automata is now on Game Pass, so you can just grab it for whatever you pay for Game Pass these days, $10 or $1 if you're new, etc. It's worth it, Jericho. As someone who held off on that series for a very long time, it's worth it. It's one of the best, possibly the best soundtrack in all of gaming for me. I went to an actual symphony to watch them perform said soundtrack in Chicago. It was worth it. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, that sells me more than a lot of things.
Yeah,
not as much as the Booba, but it's up there. It's pretty high.
Jeez.
So I was fucking with my camera, of course, because it's dying apparently.
It's got some cool things on.
So you have not played it, right, Jericho?
No, I've not played either, and I've only watched maybe a couple minutes of Nier Automata gameplay.
Okay. Did they tell you to like play through the game a few times?
Well, I will never play through it a few times, so
it's super important, I guess.
Well,
I don't really replay games,
and apparently, I didn't get like I didn't get the experience like that. Everyone has told me that. Like I got to an ending, and I was like, "That's a pretty good game." I really enjoyed it. Like, oh, dude, no.
Well,
how long is the game?
30-ish hours.
Yeah, fuck no, I can't. I got things to do. I can't put 120 hours into a single player game.
It's not necessarily, it's not replaying it at all, is what I would say. But
yeah, all right, I'll just take it.
It is a game that you can only experience once. And if that is revealed to you and what's actually happening, it kind of takes away from the game.
Okay. But I'll take it in stride. I'll give the upcoming game a chance.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring it up,
it's about 40 hours, and that's like the whole experience.
Yeah. That's
okay.
right.
That is much more
get
doable.
Everything done in about 40.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's much more doable.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring it up is because that was like told to me immediately after, like, because I think I played it like a little bit on stream and then I finished it offline, and I was like, "What do you think?" It was like, "That's pretty good." It's like, "Well, how far did you get?" It's like, you didn't. It's not actually the ending, like thing. It's just like a chapter, apparently. So
yes, that's a way. There are up to ending E or something in that game, and that is the quote full game.
So if he's actually going to play it, we should just stop talking.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to stop.
Now.
Exactly. That's 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Right.
You are correct.
And when you're done, we'd love to get you back in. We can talk all about it.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm writing it down.
It's a hell of a thing for sure. It had I think Co will say the same. It had a very large emotional response.
It is one of the more unique games I have ever played.
Yeah. Yeah. Good way.
One thing I will say, there is a way to keep that booty out the whole time. Ask your chat about it when you play it. It's like, where'd the booty go? Just ask him, like, there's a way to
There's a way to. All
Yeah.
right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
By the way,
Speak with the important
maybe
stuff.
like
Good job, man.
top 3 booties in all of video games.
That's
But
strong.
number 1 best wet booty in all of video games.
It's very strong. Very strong.
See, I talk about the things.
He's a
that
man of the people.
He's a man of the
video
people.
game
Yeah.
player
He's
watcher.
a man of the
Like,
people.
Yeah.
I'm a man of the people. Right.
You
Look,
see, this is why I hate video games. They
glasses
appeal
are
to
hurting my
male
eyes.
fantasy. All right.
Oh my God. There's a reason that Nier Automata is dominating the Rule 34 world and has for several years is what Zeke's getting at for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else is out there? Sony, once again, just trying to capture the news cycle. They put out information on their new controller for VR a couple
Okay.
Not a
days
new
ago.
headset.
Yeah.
Just controllers.
Just controllers. Like,
I will say that it actually, you know what do you know what they do before I start talking about it?
they have
like what did they
adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, and finger touch detection, and more. So
They're trying
Right.
to compete with the index controllers.
yes,
Yeah, the Vive
yes.
controllers, yeah.
Or the yeah.
Yeah,
Which are
yeah,
fantastic. Literally head and shoulders above any other system
They
that
are.
I've ever used. It's so good.
They're the best for sure.
Especially when used, like in Alex, like that was an incredible
man.
experience. Like actually holding the can and then crushing the controller to have it like actually do that, and that is such a surreal experience.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep.
Oh, someone in my chat said they have announced that a new headset is happening. There's just no details yet.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Excellent.
That is nice because there's tend to be the more accessible options, right? Of the VR system, that and like
Totally.
the Oculus Quest or whatever their mobile one is. So hey, that's good.
I hope it's as good as the index, because that, like all you guys have said, are 10 out of 10. So the best in the
I
best.
like that night mode box. Pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's the night box. That's the intro.
And back to the intro. Welcome to Drop Frames.
Look, it had to happen. It's been 2 weeks. I didn't have that in my memory. What else is out there in the world of, I guess, just continuing along with the hardware? Bloomberg is continuing to report on this new Switch model that is poised to release later this year, they say. 7-inch, 720p OLED screen. Using DLSS, which is the big bit of news here, a better CPU, more memory, and launching with a bunch of games. They're saying that it will launch with a $399 price tag, which I think is $100 more than the current Switch price. For me, the big thing here is DLSS. DLSS is a scaling thing by AI that NVIDIA has put out there. I've used it in a lot of different games, I guess most notably like Call of Duty uses DLSS. Control uses DLSS.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs, the premier DLSS.
Look at
He's
those
not wrong.
reflections.
It technically has those settings in that game. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I guess Cyberpunk, like there's a bunch of big games that have used and utilized DLSS. And it's awesome. It's essentially like it can put out a 720p image and upscale it via AI to 4K. And it looks really, really good. It's very hard to notice that your game's like being upscaled, and the FPS gains that you can get from it are pretty good, pretty astronomical in a lot of cases. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see Nintendo go that route. If they are actually going that route, this is all still rumor / potential leaks of all this stuff. But I guess the big question is, JERICHO, where do you sit in the world of the Switch fandom? Because we're not necessarily big Switch folk.
Yeah. Well, because I hadn't had a handheld console or anything since like the Game Boy Advanced, right? Like I had every Game Boy up until that point, and then I started having to drive to school, so that can't play games doing that. I never got back into it, and I knew the DS and everything was incredible, the 3DS Max and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got into it with the Switch because I wanted to play Smash. The new Smash or Smash Ultimate was. I'm a big Smash guy,
Sure,
and it was mobile, so it was good. Will I buy the new one? Probably, yeah. But the only games that I've played on the Switch are like, I haven't played Zelda. I understand, but I'm probably not going to. But there's great games on there. I just like, for the average person, kind of like, why would you upgrade? DLSS is good. It's going to be really great. But also, it's not like they have like launch titles for it that are going to be like PS5 level launch titles, right? It's still going to be comparable.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, though. Like, it could be that big of a jump in quality. I don't know.
Well, we haven't heard too much about a lot of big games that are like hardcore focused with Bayonetta and Breath of the Wild 2 and something Metroid related, maybe a new Mario. That could all launch, right, with the Switch, the Super Switch, which is what I hope they call it.
But just looking at, like, did you watch the Nintendo Direct with the new Pokemon games? And they showcased that open world Pokemon game, and it looked desolate and awful.
Yeah.
And
ran really bad. Yeah.
Right. That's the kind of thing where I'm hoping that they can utilize a newer gen processor and RAM and DLSS to make that look good. But also, it is Nintendo. I don't really have a huge, like, standard bar that I think they're going to hit. I think it's just going to do things just fine, and that's enough for most people.
I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
They've never. I would say, I guess the 64 was the last time they were kind of like on top of the tech world, right? Like they started to focus more, or not tech world, and hardware levels, hardware power, I should say. At that point, like the PS3 and 360 started to push forward a little bit further, and Nintendo was like, yeah, but we've got cool art. We don't need to necessarily have the fastest / best console. We can just continue making art. Yeah.
GameCube was the last, like, I'd say main thing they had.
Yeah.
Also, none of the Nintendo, like, heavy hitters need great graphics.
Right.
Like, all the games that, that Mario's really known for, they can get away with pretty much any graphics they want to at the end of the day. So they don't really have that need to design like super high-end realistic systems.
Yeah. I will say, as someone that has played Breath of the Wild in 4K 60 through other means, it looks really fucking good. Like, it's very impressive looking.
Right.
If they can push that on like their own system, then like it's very fucking good. But you're 100% right.
Do you think, though, that they would have games that would look significantly different between the two?
I don't know.
They'd still have to design the games for the previous Switch and have that in mind, and then probably just have like small enhancements. Kind of remember how the PS4 Pro and the base was, where it's like nothing was a lot better on the Pro. Probably for marketing reasons, if nothing else. But
yeah.
There's other things that would look great, like Rise. I bet something like Rise could take
60 FPS bump.
A big, absolutely could have a big hit on something like this. But
totally, yeah. I mean, at that point, they would have 3 different SKUs for the Switch. They'd have like the only handheld version. They'd have the like base model, and then they'd have like the quote pro model or whatever. And that's a lot.
That's a good lineup.
Yeah, it's a good lineup, but it starts to get a lot, right? Like when Jill goes to fucking GameStop and gets a game system for their kid, like they're gonna be confused as shit, right?
Right. But I don't know. I think that Nintendo does a better job of kind of labeling. Each one has its own space, right? It's handheld only, it's your generic model, and then it's the performance model, versus like, when I'm talking to my mom and we're talking about Xbox, and one has a disk drive, the other one doesn't, one has less memory, like they all have various, I guess, like options on the same line, but I feel like at least with the Nintendo, there's a set reason for each one, and it's not as nuanced, but I get where you're coming from. It could be a little confusing. But like the Xbox X1 S or whatever the fuck, like how do you tell your mom which one you want?
Yeah. And I don't like, I mean, that's been out for a while. Is that, I haven't heard any like horror stories, but I guess that's because with COVID, you're not going into a GameStop, right? Like you're shopping online. So I guess that confusion is there. It would have to be. But I just remember, like, Chad brought up a good point with the 3DS when there was a billion different models for the 3DS. I remember my aunt going and being like, "Hey, I want to get Caleb, my cousin, a 3DS. Which one do I get?" And I was like, what do you want?
I don't know.
Do you want like the 3D one? Do you want the flat one? Do you want like the base one? I don't fucking know. It was complicated. So they might run into that, but they've been there before. So maybe they know how to handle it better this time around. If this is something that actually comes out. So we will see. If it means I get to see more Nintendo games at higher resolution and higher FPS, then sure, I'll pay $100. Like, you know, I'm the outlier there. I'll buy whichever system / hardware is the best, because of the job that I do and the games that I want to play. But I don't know if that's the case for everyone else, right? Like $100 on a $300 system is a pretty large chunk up and change. So we will see. It depends on, I guess, what games are coming out with it, if that ships later this year. The other, obviously, thing to worry about is the whole semiconductor shortage. Like, if that comes out, you can't buy anything. You're not gonna be able to buy a PS5, a Xbox, a Switch, graphics. You're just not gonna get anything because the scalpers are gonna get before you no matter what. So they got to figure out that.
It's gonna be rough.
That whole thing.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Even a car. Did you guys know that cars are also, like, the production lines of cars are slowed down because they can't get the semiconductors? So they're just building the car frames and then, like, putting them to the sides in places to then finally get the semiconductor chips. I didn't realize it was that crazy. That it was affecting, like, cars. But sure, why not? They have computers in them now. The smart cars exist. So we'll see. Hopefully that gets better over time. What else is out there in terms of news that we missed? Jericho, did you play any Genshin Impact? Were you big?
I did.
Okay.
I played when I was looking for something to fill the time of quarantine, and I was looking for like a game that I could play off stream or like very relaxed. And I'm a weeb, so I was like, hell yeah, dude. Anime MMO, let's go. Game's pretty boring for me. Like I played about 15 hours. I liked that it was mobile. I like that you could. I enjoyed. I don't mind the gacha games type shit.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothered me was the lack of actual fighting most of the time. Like, it was a lot of running dialogue, and then like the fighting was interesting, but the dungeons were. I don't know. It just didn't click with me.
It's a weird.
But
game.
I appreciate it. Yeah, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
So
well, a lot of people did because they already passed $1 billion in less than 6 months. That beat Pokemon Go by 3. So
yeah,
it's doing well. Like,
yeah,
there you go.
People are into spending money on Genshin Impact, it turns out, and will probably continue to do so. But
it's the mobile that was interesting to me. If I was flying, and I travel a lot, like that's why I played old school RuneScape. It's on your phone.
Yeah,
played on airplane Wi-Fi. So
yeah. Well, I guess continue to see how big that game can get. Gotham Knights was delayed to 2022. We were talking about delays. That is the Batman game without Batman. That is the 4-person like co-op game that they revealed, I think, alongside the Suicide Squad from Rocksteady sometime last year. What else do we got? Forspoken. Did you guys see this trailer coming out of the Square Enix thing? It was probably the most exciting trailer that they showed. I can put it up on the screen.
Warframe game.
Yeah, it's got movement that is very much like Warframe. You are 100% correct there. It also looks very pretty, and I want to say this is the game that Gary Whitta is writing for. It's from the Luminous engine.
Oh, Project Athia. Yeah. They renamed. What was it? Forsaken? Is that what you said it was?
Forspoken. They went
Forspoken.
with Forspoken.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I didn't. There's no gameplay in this, is it? It's just cinematic.
Yeah. Here's the trailer. Yeah. It looks to be like an open world game where you have to use magic to exist and survive.
Is there no audio?
There can be. I don't know. I'm worried about the DMCA aspect of
this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It was, so when I covered the Square conference, one of the things that Square did, which I think is hilarious and also sad at the same time, they sent me a timeline of the 30-minute Square conference with the timestamps of what was DMCA-able.
That's kind of cool.
And like, of the 30 minutes, I think it was about 13 minutes that I just had to mute or risk DMCA. And from like a viewer's perspective, that was kind of shit, right?
But I skipped the whole thing because of that.
Yeah, I am glad that Square did that, right? So the channel doesn't see any issues. We deleted the VOD after the fact, regardless, but it was a little strange.
This looks pretty.
Yeah, that's Forspoken. The movement thing that Ko was saying that looks like Warframe, is that, did they already do
further.
it?
Yeah, no, it's further.
I think it's after this. You can slow it down, and it very much has the like spins and pirouettes that you see.
It has the little like bullet jumping, the bullet drive and everything.
Yeah, right there. It
transitioning from one move into another, then jumping out of it, and
very much like
there.
Warframe.
That is iconic
fluid movement
stuff.
Yeah. Also, the bear from Annihilation, which I'm a big fan of. That bear's great.
Did you say it was an MMO or what, or single player? Like, what's the?
It's open world.
Of this? Open world.
Yeah.
Single player.
Open world.
Single player. Open world.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Same engine as Final Fantasy 15. Huh?
Yes, it's the Luminous engine. Yeah. So that looks cool. That was Life is Strange 3 was also in there in that event. They announced the Avengers stuff, which I'll talk about because we played a little bit of that, and that game's a game, to say the least. We'll talk about that though in the later sections of the show. I don't know if there's anything. Balan Wonderworld was also shown in there, which I think is out, and then a couple other things that were smaller.
Wait, I think I misheard that. What'd you say? That what Underworld?
Balan. I don't. It's a. I think.
I thought you said blonde. I thought you said blonde Underworld, and I was like,
no.
I was like, what game is that?
No. It's BALA.
Let me check this out.
Yeah, it's
Blonde Underworld.
Not very good.
Who was the actress in Underworld? Was she blonde?
Kate Beckinsale. No, she was not.
Yeah, and she is blonde naturally, so I think.
Really?
Is she? I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
Oh, she's absolutely not.
Okay.
In no way, shape, or form.
There you go. What else is out or coming out? Chat, did I miss any of the big news? It's been 2 weeks, so I forget like what we haven't actually talked about. Did we talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade? Was that a thing that we discussed? The Final Fantasy VII DLC. It's coming out with the PS5 updates in June.
It's Yuffie?
Is it Yuffie or Yuffie? Is it Yuffie?
I call her Yuffie.
Chat,
I mean, nobody knows because in 7 they didn't have any voice acting really, so it's like it'd be either. I say Yuffie.
I've always said Yuffie. Yeah,
Yuffie just sounds odd to say, so I think it would be Yuffie. Everyone's saying Yuffie.
Sounds kind of weird.
Yeah. I think it's Yiffy.
No. Goofy. Yuffie.
Definitely not Yuffie.
That's okay. Now listen, we're treading on territory.
Dangerous territory.
Yes. Yes,
I might get a little NSFW if you know what I'm saying.
We are indeed. Yeah. That's a thing that's coming out, as well as a free upgrade for the PS5 if you're already on the game. Here's a little bit of that footage. It looks very good. This trailer is very weird because they put things like lighting here at the bottom and textures and fog as ways of showing different things off. But it looks and runs a lot better than the PS4 version. Not to say that the PS4 version didn't look good and run well. This just is better. So much so that it depending on what else is out around that time, like maybe it's time for the hard mode run. Because I definitely did not finish up hard mode. And that looks really good graphic wise. HDR, all that stuff. Although I think it already had HDR, but better graphics all in all. Looks very good. Oh, this comes out the day after Ratchet and Clank. I don't know any more about that then. I got to play Ratchet and Clank. Did you play? Were you a Final Fantasy guy at all, Jericho?
I've never played. It's it's funny. I watched this trailer because I said the like Sony and Final Fantasy has the same branding for like 25 years, and they actually make like this text and like the graphics and stuff. No, I never got into it. I feel like everybody had their group of friends that was into specific types of games. Mine were always shooting games, but it looks fun. I just know big sword guys, Cloud. That's it.
That's about all you need to know, really,
all right.
at the end of the day. Yeah. Zeke, what were you going to say?
It's gone now.
Okay, it's gone.
Moment's gone.
It's gone. Moment's gone. Yeah. This also, I think, comes out right after the new Guilty Gear as well. So, as usual, video game companies are putting out every game at the same time.
They're coordinating.
Yeah.
Tell you, man, they have to be
3 or 4 day period. Yeah. I think that's it in terms of big news, unless you guys have anything you want to throw into the mix here. Your chat is throwing anything into the mix. I'm just kind of scrolling around here. Dying Light got an update in the sense of Dying Light 2.
Oh yeah, their video.
They talked about, they said, hey guys, the game's still being worked on. Here's an update. Let us continue working on the game. And here's like 3 seconds of some low FPS footage. Thanks.
Damn. Yep.
Yeah. Which Co, you're in that world. You're a big Dying Light fan. Was that needed? Was that the type of thing we were like, cool, great, I'm glad they did that?
I think it definitely helped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of tumultuousness associated with Dying Light 2, especially, they were involved. They had some writers involved in the big kind of sexual harassment scandal that passed a while back.
Yeah.
They had some people. They announced way too early, so they missed some deadlines and milestones. And they people have been just kind of assuming and thinking that there's been a pretty troubled development process, and they've been kind of quiet, which has only added, to the storm there. So I think them coming out and doing what they did was a good move. I think it sounded like a very genuine video, and honestly, it made me feel a lot better about the project. So
Cool.
Dying Light, for I think a lot of us, is a when it's done thing, because a lot of us really liked Dying Light 1, and we're kind of hoping that Dying Light 2 can continue that, take that torch and run with it. So I mean, I still have high hopes for it. A lot more than Vampire the Masquerade, I'll tell you that. Bloodlines 2. And I hope they kind of do what they want to do. It sounds like they're on the right track.
Yeah.
I know, dude. It makes me want to cry, too. It's such an unfortunate situation.
Pepe laugh.
Yeah. There's games in a rough spot.
No, since I've been playing Persona 3, like, I've been inundated with, like, hey, did you hear? Hey, did you hear? Shin Megami Tensei, but I don't know how to fucking say it.
SMT.
SMT3 Nocturne is getting an HD release.
Yeah. I've always
May 24th.
I as someone who I think all 3 of us are like pretty big Persona fans, more recently than not. I've never played a single SMT game. But it is
me neither.
They're like identical, like the same Persona are in that game. I've just never jumped in on any of them. So
have you ever looked at the you know how they have those like timeline trees for Zelda? Have you looked at one of those for SMT?
No, I'm sure it's crazy.
Fucking insane. Like there's like 50 games.
Yeah, I know.
Just
it's
out
old.
of that universe.
Yeah, it's an old franchise, for sure. There's a lot of shit going on, which is maybe another reason why I'm so wary of like jumping in, right? Because in some form you would think you would want to understand that type of stuff to appreciate it more, but I don't know anything about it. Persona's got style. That's what I like, right? SMT has never really been one to grab me with its like historical focus, somewhat. Like it's not new age stuff. I guess it's not modern day, and that has always made me shy away. So we didn't talk about. Cole, you've been to Poland. How do you pronounce the Cyberpunk director's name? The lead gameplay designer former lead gameplay designer of Cyberpunk 27. He left. What's his name?
I have no idea, but I can say this. Here's the thing: there are that was like the people that announced that were trying to preface it and stage it like it was this huge bombshell news and all this stuff. But a few quick things. First of all, not uncommon after products release for stations like that to leave the project.
Sure.
Second of all, he was one of 4 directors, from what I understand, and he was the one that was focusing on the crafting system.
So it's good he's gone.
I did not say that. But
Nice.
yeah, the TLDR is it doesn't really, it's not a huge deal. It doesn't really say or should say anything about the project and them trying to save it. Speaking of which, we should have patch notes out like this week of their first major patch. They did release a little 4-video kind of mini look at the new update coming out, and it's doing some pretty good things. They're improving the police spawning, improving the driving. They're doing some bug fixing and things of that nature. So there's some good stuff coming, but we still haven't gotten like the patch notes, which I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting. So hopefully we will get that very soon.
Yeah. How's that game? What's the conversation around that game? Have people moved on from like
I think most most people like it. They've come to accept that it was basically a failed launch and that it needed more time. I think as time goes on, people are appreciating the better parts more, which I think is fundamentally a good thing. But at the same time, I mean, it is now established that it was a failed launch. And the important part is that CDPR has essentially fallen from grace. Now that the dust has settled, people are seeing that CDPR attempted to mislead people to buy the product. Like there's no way around it. Like the way that they did everything and the way they handled the console release, like they not only rushed it out the door in an unstable state, they tried to essentially lie to people saying it was in a better state than it was. And then they tried to restrict reviews so people would buy it and hopefully not return it, essentially. And it was see the biggest victim, I don't want to say victim because it's not like they didn't do it to themselves. The biggest fall in all of this is CDPR. And now we can only kind of hope that over time they do whatever they need to do to get Cyberpunk back to the point that it should be. But even if they do, like, nothing is. It's very similar to the release of Fallout 76 with Bethesda, where it's like no matter how much better you make the product, what happened will always have happened. And that golden age of CDPR being the chosen company is gone. That is now a history, and it will probably never come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, as a good way to say it is the person just said it's irreversible damage. Like no matter what they do at this point, they will never be able to be that company again.
Do you
Trust has been lost?
Not necessarily having much to do with video games, except the fact that it was a video game. Do you think that will impact the conversation or the general hype or just watching of Witcher Season 2 later this year? Do you think that's going to have any impact on it whatsoever? Like, are we going to see like calls to boycott the Witcher Season 2 on Twitter?
I don't think so. Witcher is an established, successful franchise.
Yeah.
So and not only that, the Witcher show has always been kind of disconnected from the franchise. So I think it'll be just fine, to be honest. I think it would be crazy if they now. Funny enough, I think I remember them specifically saying that there was some kind of Cyberpunk animated thing coming out at some point later.
I do
remember in one of the wires they talked about. Yeah, so I don't know if it'll impact that. That would be, I think, a question that would be a little bit more connected. But even then, I mean, it's all of anything related to CDPR and Cyberpunk is going to be dependent on CDPR and seeing how they support the people that have already bought their game, which essentially they can only do through updates, fixes, and enhancements. So again, this first patch, which we're supposed to see like literally any day now, in terms of what it has, will be a big look into what they're planning on doing with this game.
Yeah. We will see. What else is there?
Doom 3 DLC or Doom Eternal DLC? Doom Eternal DLC 2.
Yeah,
it was fun.
We all played it.
It was easier than the first DLC.
I agree.
For sure.
Now, were you a not ultra nightmare difficulty man?
No, ultra violence, right below.
Okay, all right. Is that what you played the first one on?
Yeah, I mean, I like the difficulty, but I don't want to restart the whole level if I die, and I die quite often. So I decided to go with ultra violent. Actually, nightmare is you restart the whole level, right? Yeah. Or do you start the game?
No. There's ultra violence, and then nightmare, which is the hardest difficulty, and then ultra nightmare, which is the hardest difficulty with permadeath.
Yeah, no, I'm ultra violence for sure.
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked the new enemies that they added. I liked the new arenas that they had. The change of scenery was cool, fighting in like a less like, torn down hellscape of Earth. But I was disappointed. No spoilers with the final boss. I didn't think he would. I thought it was such a kind of a letdown, even though it was kind of difficult. And I think that it was just overall the arenas were easier than the first one.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said, 100%.
Oh yeah, and the sound effect of the stun. Who the fuck put that in there? When you stun an enemy and it gives the chirpy bird sound effect with like lights, with like the stars above their head. I'm what?
I never even heard that. I didn't realize it had a sound effect to it.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me feel Doom like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's Looney Tunes. You're right. 100%.
Yeah.
So bad.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that there was a sound effect there. I missed it, I guess. But yeah, I agree everything. The final I think the final boss thing I'll save for later in terms of a bigger discussion, because it made me think, like, what is a good FPS final boss off the top of my head? And I realized they're kind of hard to do.
They are, but like if you think about the ending of the first of the actual game of Doom Eternal and some of the people you're fighting, like the gravity of those fights just hit way different than the supposed be all end all of the Doom, like Eternal they kind of Eternal thing. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a part of a larger discussion, which we'll save for a little bit. So I want to talk about the other stuff.
I actually really liked it, but again, we can talk about it later.
Yeah,
I did like it. But
yeah, the arenas, I agree 100%. Like they were. I think I felt like this DLC was them learning from the first DLC's difficulty and figuring out how to make things fun difficult, whereas the first DLC was like, go fuck yourself. Like difficulty, like it was really like a lot. But when I died in this, it was like, that was fun. I died in a way that was fun. It was a fun death. Fuck these devs still. Like they are real bastards for the difficulty of this game.
Yeah. This arena that we're in right now was the hardest one for me. I think I died 15 times on this one.
I agree.
Just because like it was a long fight and there were several different like tiers of enemies. But you're right. It was for the most part a little less frustrating and more kind of like a sit back and just enjoy the ride, which maybe I kind of wanted at the end, because it's been how many months since I've played, and you're so rusty when you get back on Doom. You're like,
dude, the first in DLC 2, the first like challenge portal or gate or whatever, I was stuck on that the longest because it's exactly what you just said. You have to learn how to replay Doom. You have to learn the counters. You have to think about it as more like a puzzle rather than like an FPS in that sense. And that's the one that took me the longest. Conversely, the third one, I one-shot. Partially because like at that point I was into it. The other part being the guys that you headshot that give you 200 HP are like kind of cheating.
They're so easy and they spawn immediately. And it's just like you just pop their head, full ammo, full like and also like the weapon too that they gives you shield, right? So I felt like I was never strapped for ammo or shield like I used to be, where I'd be like panicking for an ad to light on fire or whatever.
One thing that was really nice about the DLC too is that like I really like how the second tier of the challenges were just as hard or harder than the last DLC.
Yeah.
Like they still had, for people that wanted it, that really tough, brutal, holy shit, there's another wave after this feeling. Where the base game, even on Nightmare, was so much easier. Like you could tell, I bet you that the devs like were constantly like, we should probably take that out. We should probably take that out. Like they were just, you didn't get that overwhelming feeling. Like where the first DLC, every single room felt like those second challenge areas.
Mm-hmm.
The second DLC clearly has a more like, okay, for people that just want to get through it, we're going to make it a challenging, fun experience. But the people that really want to try themselves, they even have like the warning now, like please keep in mind this is designed for serious people only. Like they have their heads in the right place for that, and it was definitely some growth, I would say, in terms of more tuning that properly.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because and I actually think that's probably a better way to go, just so you don't have the knee-jerk reactionary, like, I can't finish the tutorial level, this is too hard for me type thing, while still giving, like, it doesn't interrupt you at all. You finish a challenge, it pops up, it's like, you want to keep going? And you can be like, no, I'm going to move on with the story, or yes, I'd like to cry a little bit. So I agree. You're right. They did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think my favorite aspect out of especially the second DLC, the first one, it was there, but the second DLC, they make you think, at least for me, they make me think the Marauders are the easiest enemies in the game. Which, when you play through that the first time and you meet a Marauder for the first time, you're like, well, these guys suck. These mobs are like the worst. And by the end of the second DLC, you're like, oh, thank God, it's just a Marauder.
Yeah.
It's just, I can like one round this guy. It's not going to be a big deal at all. Because then, like at this, the one that Ko's doing right now, I think the end of this is 2 of the tyrants and 2 of the like mech guys. Mm-hmm. Is the final
floating mech guys, the shields.
Yeah,
the ones with the empowered demons that have 2 stages of health and they fucking suck.
Yeah, like,
oh my God, dude.
It was, this one, I think for me was the hardest. But I never at any point was like, fuck this game, I'm done. It was just like,
yeah,
I need to get that archdemon before he like spawns the mobs, and then I can just skip this entire phase and I'll feel better about it, blah, blah, blah. And so it was good. I think I spent like 45 minutes to an hour on this one. And it was definitely the hardest. Because you just have to learn how to play. You have to learn like, oh yeah, you can use rockets or the minigun.
Paper, rock, scissors, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, it's funny. It's funny because one of the people in my chat said it best. He was like, man, I quit this game after 30 minutes. I just want to shoot shit. I didn't realize I had to be like a strategic overlord in this damn game, knowing like everyone's weaknesses and what to do when and who to do what. It's like, I just want to shoot stuff. I can't do that anymore. This is my doom. And it was kind of like, I kind of see where he's coming from, because he's right. Like, some weapons are superior versus some enemies. And when you're fighting like 9 different types of enemies really quickly, like, you have to know what goes what and which alternate fire you need. And like, oh, I need to put this weapon on this weapon so it'll work properly. And I need to blast that off that guy. And it's just like, it's a lot now. It's a lot.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Yeah. But I said at the end of it, I think if this is the end for Doom, Doom Eternal, I should say, and it moves on to something else, like, I'm happy with this being the final thing. I think they nailed it. I think it was, you know,
everything except for the music, which you really fucked it. Like this,
you didn't like the music in this? I thought it was fine.
No,
really?
I mean,
it wasn't Mick Gordon, but it wasn't. It was fine.
I think that people. I mean, no. Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
I think that there are some people that grossly underestimate how much of an impact Mick Gordon's music soundtrack and overall, contribution to Doom makes Doom enjoyable for me. You do have good music. It is good-ish music, but not one track was standout to the point where I, felt like, hey, I should go listen to this on Spotify. Like, there is a distinguishable gap in the talent of music. It's not to say that it's bad. It's just you went from arguably one of the best composers to somebody that is not him. And so I feel very slighted about that. I'm super upset, and I hope that they apologize, because it's all Bethesda's fault, or not Bethesda. It's all
it was both parties mastered. A little bit.
Mick was being a douche, but also he deserves to be a douche. He's an artiste.
You're gonna go that route?
Okay. I don't know if you read it. It actually released like an official statement on what happened with all that stuff.
Did they really? I haven't read that. So.
Oh, they did. They did. And there's only so much they can do. There's only so much anyone can do when the artist that you have contracted to do your music repeatedly fails delivering the music by their deadlines.
Oh,
so
deadlines.
Like they
I did hear about this. Right.
It was like, he may be a fantastic artist, but sometimes art can't be rushed. And that's a little different when you have, investors breathing down your neck.
Right.
The whole reason, for instance, so there was that huge falling out was because, to put it bluntly, like, they agreed on times and id said straight up, and Mick didn't meet them.
Yeah.
So like they tried. That's the whole reason the soundtrack didn't come out when the game did. So
it was like fine. I was not aware of that.
Yeah. But I don't think that was by choice. I definitely see, especially from you, Jericho, as somebody who I would say is more audio inclined. than a lot of us. I mean, you and your record label, you're really into this stuff. I definitely see where you're coming from. As a more general music guy myself, I thought the music was really good. It wasn't Mick Gordon, but I still felt like it was really good. Like I felt like it was Doom music. And the people that did do it, I feel like did a great job. But it wasn't Mick Gordon. It didn't have that that little bit of extra icing on the cake.
Right.
I would agree with that. But yeah. I was still pretty good.
Yeah.
I was headbanging a lot. I found myself doing this a lot. Like, especially when the action picked up, like I would just realize I was like, oh yeah, there we go.
I would agree.
How would you like to be the guy though? That do you think that was in a consideration? Like, hey, everybody fucking loves Mick Gordon. I'm gonna do my best here, and I hope fucking people like it.
It's an impossible job, right? Like that's
exactly.
Ship position. Yeah,
dude. I think JERICHO said it best. He actually said, "I don't like the music because it's not Mick Gordon." Yeah, it's like just because it's not Mick, it doesn't matter how good it is.
No, that was deliberately I was deliberately making a blanket statement. Yes, there's nothing wrong with it at all, and I was just trying to be combative here. Like there's nothing wrong with this, but I wish that it were up to the same standard as the original OST.
Sure.
The thing is though, you're not wrong because a lot of people associate Doom with Mick Gordon. So even if they brought in somebody who made better music, a lot of people would be frustrated because it's not their Doom anymore. It's like a different, because Doom and the music go to hand in hand. So just because it's not Mick.
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with like an analogy or an example, and the one that I came up with was Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. Now Jackie Earle Haley did not do a bad job. He was in some ways creepier and better.
This is a good analogy.
But he's not Englund.
Sure.
He's not Freddy Krueger, you can't, it's hard to get that out of your fucking head when you're watching like a new version.
Or like who's the true James Bond?
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a big discussion though, right? Like there's a lot of opinions there.
Or Spider-Man, who's
James
the real
Bond,
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
James Bond
or Batman. We were having a discussion about Batman's nipples
changing
today. Yeah. But we were having a serious discussion about Batman's nipples today, and the different people that played Batman, and how some Batmans had the little nipple.
Clooney had the nipples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Batman's nipples. So it's like some people, they have to have nipples with their Batman, and it
that was
the experience if they don't.
Yeah,
that was all Schumacher though, I think, right?
Director. Who directed Batman and Robin? Because that was Clooney with Jim Carrey. Was that Schumacher?
Joel Schumacher did Forever and Batman and Robin, I think, didn't he? I think he did both of those.
Oh, then that's Schumacher. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, because I remember watching interviews with Joel Schumacher, he was like, "Yes, I was the one who added nipples to the bat suit," and I was like, "Well, fuck you then." I don't know why I cared so much. I just did.
Talk about stealing the spotlight in every scene. I mean, they're like magnets for the eyes.
It's true. It's true. You're not wrong. I was reminded.
It's why a lot of animators don't put nipples on like bare-chested cartoons or anime or whatever. They don't put nipples on there because they draw the eye.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, bringing it back to Doom, I was reminded here about the new enemies. There's no easy segue out of there, so I just have to do it. I was reminded of the cursed enemy. Whichever dev decided that the cursed enemy should exist, I want them fired, but then promoted and rehired. Because I have such a love-hate relationship with that enemy because it's such a simple thing of this mob's going to come up and it's going to hit you, and then you're going to lose all movement, and you have to find it and you have to kill it. And until you do, you can't do a single fucking thing. And so it becomes this giant thing you have to focus on, and just no matter what else is going on, focus on this little gangly looking fucker walking around in the map because he's that detrimental to the run. And that type of stuff I think just speaks to how smart id is when it comes to this arena style combat. Of that little thing is so small and not that big of a deal, but it is the biggest deal when it happens. It's so
interesting thing, by the way. I have a feeling they knew how insanely annoying that mob was.
100%.
Because of this map. Because get this, the third phase of this map every time has one of those green dudes spawn, and I think they're called a harbinger, the big summoner. These guys right here, that guy right there,
arch demons.
The archdemon.
Yeah.
The archdemon has about 4 different spawns.
Yes.
Where it can spawn around the map, but the green guy always spawns in the exact same place, and it makes me wonder if people, because what I would do is every time, once I learned that, every time, the second I would kill that big green guy, I would run over to where I know that green guy spawns and immediately kill him so I didn't have to deal with him. And it makes me wonder if they kind of realize, like, yeah, some people are going to just want to, like, end this dude.
Get him out of here.
Like, he's really annoying. So for those people, let's go ahead and just keep him safe.
Right.
I completely glossed over the fact that this challenge was the one where I felt like they learned so much from people knowing the spawns in the first DLC that they made those spawns variable. And they also changed the timing of the spawns as well. Like there's certain factors that, like, if you killed X amount of mobs, it would push forward. And like that variance, I didn't realize it at the time, but that variance now looking back on it made this encounter. It was so much more fun.
That was really confusing when I realized that there wasn't a set, like, you kill this brain. I don't know the names of any of them, but you kill the brain turret. Yeah, you kill him, and then that will trigger the next wave of mobs. But, you know, after dying so many times, it's like, I can't figure out when the next big wave is going to come. Like, and it keeps you on your toes. So if they did that, which they certainly did on purpose, they would definitely added to the whole game.
Yeah.
Well, what they seem to have done is they've made it so, like, different mob types are spawn chains. So if you kill like a certain couple mobs, then because those mobs are dead, a third will spawn. But if you kill like it in a different order, then you may not even get that third spawn until you've finished off the other one. So it's like it adds this complete level of variance.
Yeah.
Where they don't feel the same every time. So it makes repeated deaths a lot more entertaining.
It was, I think this is maybe their best like arena encounter throughout all of Doom Eternal. I think because of that very reason. They've learned so much from all of the other aspects of the game that, like, they figured it out in a lot of ways on like how to make a challenging thing repeatable and be fun every single time. And not just like, gotta get to that fucking spawn faster. It's like, I gotta find that spawn. Oh God, the red things are coming up. Oh God, oh fuck, he's over there. Get over there faster. Like that type of shit. It was good.
I pretty much said that in my head, word for word, many times. Like, oh, there's a summon coming. Where is he? Yeah. Just like kept like zipping around the map as fast as possible.
Yeah. Also, another thing they learned, those yellow shields. The first, like, my brain goes shield, switch to plasma, immediately get rid of it no matter where you're at. When I saw those yellow shields, it was like, fuck, I got to use a rocket and like hope that I get the shot right and like place it right behind them type deal. Like, again, it's them just watching and learning from their own game. And it's really awesome to see that type of stuff. I thought it was fantastic. Let's talk about the final boss. We should probably put up some sort of spoiler thing. I don't have a spoiler tag, so I'll just put my hand up. I'm not going to show footage of it, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just mute the stream when my hand goes down, or someone's hands. When all of our hands are down, then we will be done talking about it. I didn't like the boss. I got to the boss on the hardest difficulty. I tried it for 10 minutes. I one-sat this entire DLC, and I was like, you know what? I see what they're doing here. I'm going to put on easy. I'm going to finish the game. I don't have the patience to like, and at that point, I didn't know that the checkpoints were every two bubbles, I think.
Yeah.
Had I known that going in, I might have kept it at the same difficulty, but like the idea of regenning HP and all that shit was just like, nah, I'm good. And I just put on easy and finished the game. I had no issue with doing that. But I know that Ko liked it, and JERICHO, you were a little bit indifferent on it from what I could tell.
Yeah, I want to hear Ko's counter, like your argument.
Yeah.
So I really liked the end boss. And the reason being is because, first of all, the health thing was a little bit bunk, especially how much he got back.
Right.
But I also really liked that you could, by learning how he functioned and learning to avoid it, you could completely bypass it, which was awesome.
Right.
I came up with like multiple different strategies during it to get around it. Ended up finishing on a nightmare after many attempts. The checkpoints really help, by the way. Great call by the devs.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really liked about the end boss is if you think about it in the context of the game, it really makes sense. Because the lesser versions, the dudes that you fight all the time around the game, JP, you said their name earlier, the dog guys.
Marauders?
The green Marauders, yes.
Yeah.
Marauders are supposed to be like failed Doom guys or like previous iterations and things of that nature. So it kind of makes sense that the end boss would be a souped up version of them because he was trying to like make things versions of himself.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fits together. And then he's in this big metal suit, which just kind of compiles to that. And by the end of it, man, like especially once I got my strategies down and I really kind of understood like how to wait for the green eyes and make sure to get away from everything, use the hammer properly. The fact that you could easily use the ads to refill your hammer, so you were always kind of on your toes. I actually ended up really liking. Certainly a couple very frustrating attempts, no question, but I felt like that kind of played into it. I felt like it was a good culmination of everything else, and again, I think it would have been a little bit weirder if they made him like this completely unique encounter, because they did make it kind of clear that those other guys were kind of like lesser versions of what he was trying to do.
Right.
So I liked how they kind of just extrapolated that out to a boss level, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I get that.
Go ahead,
I don't think that my issues came with the game mechanics. I too kind of roll my eyes when there's like a health regen mechanic or a vampirism stuff. I just don't like that much, but I agree with you. Like his attack order was like learnable, and then over time, my last couple bubbles, like I barely got hit, so it wasn't that bad. I also understand that he is, that Marauders are like this type of failed Doom guy. I think, however, that it was just a little lackluster after fighting like gigantic Colossus-sized demons and who had different type of like attack patterns and stuff, and felt more overwhelming to me in size and scale than the final fight with a god, like the one. So I just wish that they had somehow made it feel more grandiose than it was, but I don't think that like I had any issue with the way the fight went. I just was like, I expected a little more. That's it. It was fine. It was fine for me.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. Yep.
Yeah.
For me,
also, I will say, they did basically just make him a giant HP sponge.
Yes.
It was a little bit interesting.
No,
I thought between the checkpoints
exactly.
we were going to be seeing like big variations.
Totally.
And granted, he summoned some more enemies towards the end. It wasn't quite as much as I was thinking. When I first saw that big mechanical suit, I thought that thing was going to be like transforming throughout the fight and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize. And then when the fight ended, I was just kind of like, is he really dead? Is he going to jump out and I'm going to have to fight him like on his own? And no, actually, he's kind of dead.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a little weird.
I think
Yeah.
my biggest thing with it is when I think of like Doom Eternal, I think of these arena encounters. I think of like aiming being a factor to propelling you towards finishing it. And that final boss, like aiming is one of the least important aspects of it. It's more movement. And like dodging and the tracking on the shield was a little bit annoying to me. And anytime that would get hit, I'd be like, well, there's his entire fucking HP bar back. So like, I guess I just have to sit here and wait for him to flash green again. But with all that said, the thing that was constantly in the back of my mind is I don't know of a FPS boss that isn't a giant bullet sponge, right? Like I don't know a game that's actually had a boss where I was like, that was a fucking 10 out of 10 boss that wasn't a giant HP sponge.
Right.
And so
I can agree
with that, I was kind of like, well, it was fine. That's why I didn't like, there's no reverence for me to like, I have to beat this on Nightmare. It's like, oh, I'll just see the credits on easy. I got what I wanted out of the arenas and I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's a good boss in an FPS ultimately.
I don't either. And I just, because I'm going to forget it. I just realized that one of the other reasons why I didn't like it as much was the arena sucked. I didn't like the arena. It was just like a 2D. Yeah,
it's just a circle.
Right?
Yeah.
Versus like look at what you're, it's like an MMA fight, which is kind of like, but look at the arena you're fighting in. It was more brain stimulation and stuff like that. But
yeah. So I don't know. Cause it also felt like compared to the actual Doom Eternal, the main game final boss in this, there were also like two different things. Like that boss was an arena boss, but it still was a bullet sponge boss in an arena.
Right.
This one was like a movement-based boss that was kind of in an open area but it was still a bullet sponge thing. So I don't know. I don't know what I want from that. Ultimately, I just know that I didn't necessarily find it all that fun, and I didn't care to like grind it out, so to speak, when it comes to this. But apart from that, all the arenas and the rest of the game make up for it. I have no problem recommending this DLC, and yeah, I think it's a great send off if this is truly the end of like Doom Eternal. I hope not.
I agree.
I would love more DLCs, but
it's the end of Doom Guy. That's they've been careful to say it's not the end of Doom. It's the end of Doom Guy. So the thing that people are starting to kind of muse about is that they're going to continue it in some way with a customizable NPC.
Can I put my hands down?
Oh yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, real quick. Any more boss stuff for anyone? Okay, we're good.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. So yeah, I think some of the musings are that there may be some kind of customization involved. So you can actually make your own person, and that would be male or female or however you want. Exactly. Doom Gal. You know, you can do whatever you wanted to do with it, and maybe, you know, design your face and things like that. They may come up with all new lore into how you ascend to whatever that is. They could do all sorts of stuff with it. I mean, the lore is so loose in this game at this point that they really could just do whatever they wanted.
Part of me
and make anything work.
Part of me like
Doom Dad
doesn't want to play a Doom game unless I'm Doom Guy. Like like
it's like Master Chief level of.
It's like Master Chief. Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
I mean,
hey,
like,
Reach work.
Is it even Doom anymore without Mick and Doom Guy? Like, is it going to be even Doom? Why don't they just call it Mood?
I think I'm that guy. I think I might be that guy, Zeke. You might be onto something.
You know what would be hilarious? They make that game, and then they have like customized character, or below it, or Doom Guy. And like you just scroll down and you get like a customized exact replica of Doom Guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're good to go.
Yeah. I was thinking about after this was all done and like, what do I want to see id do next? And I was thinking in lines of the Microsoft acquisition, like, give me a Halo game made by id. I don't think it would ever happen, but like, I might kind of be into that. Like Master Chief made by id software. Like, okay, that doesn't really go anything Halo, but I'd love to see what that looks like.
Take the Call of Duty approach and just have a bunch of game devs making games on your IP.
Yeah, like, so someone in chat says it's Master Chief on cocaine, and I couldn't think of a better description to what that would be.
I'd want them, if they were to do that, I'd want them to reach it. Where they have, it may be like in the Halo universe, but not like, keep it a little bit away from like that main backbone.
True.
And then maybe they could do something really fun with it that way. But I think it'd be a little strange if it was like in order. You know, all of a sudden you get like an id Halo. It would be such a different experience.
It would be.
I mean, yeah,
it would really.
And that's from the little Halo I've played. So
it
still got to play that sometime.
Yeah, it would be a lot different.
Now, okay, I'm not super familiar with the backstory of Doom Guy.
Yeah.
Does he have a backstory? Like, is there like a...
Yeah. This game in 2016 introduced it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is lore. And this DLC particularly really extrapolates on like who he is, where he came from, and his purpose and everything.
Yeah.
What if they go the BioShock route and do like, you play as like, remember play as the Big Daddy in one of them? Play as a demon.
Oh yeah, that's two. That'd be cool.
Well, they did that in Halo 2 where you play as an elite. Spoilers. But.
Well, Zeke brings up a great point, though. Like, what if you played whatever comes after the end of this DLC in Hell? Because I mean, they just basically like think about the ending of that. Like, something has to happen in Hell after that. Like, it could be a huge power struggle. Like, imagine like customizing your demon, and you have to like take over Hell, and you can pick like your archetype and powers and absorb.
Oh, dude, they could use like the Nemesis system. Oh wait.
Oh no! You can't even say that.
You can't. That's too much money. Yeah. No, that might be where they go. I don't know. What was the other? It made Rage 2. Was that the other id game that came out recently?
Didn't they make? Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Rage 2, so I don't know what I would want them to do. Or to go. Obviously, new IPs are always fun, but I don't know. It makes really good arena shooters, so maybe just more of that. Maybe just focus on that. But maybe they're tired of making them at this point, right? They made Doom 2016 and then this. And when did Eternal come out? Was that 2020? Was that last year? full release?
2019, I believe. Don't quote me.
Or
Either late 2018 or early 2019, I think. I think it was like February.
Yeah. Yeah. So
March 20th,
March, April. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So it hasn't even been that. We've already had 2 DLCs
been,
in a year.
It's literally been 4 days over a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm with you though, JERICHO. I thought it was longer. I would have.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2019.
But you know, it's quarantine time. Everything blends together. I'm like,
yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Obviously, a new Quake game. I would love that as a Quake stand for sure. Like, give me a new Quake game. Give me a new Quake game with actually good multiplayer, and I'll be there. But I feel like
they have like a new Quake arena or something.
We don't talk about that.
Champion?
No, we don't talk about Quake Champions. Right. Yeah, it was not. It wasn't it. that didn't exist.
Quaker Watch.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
That sounds like some weird religious thing. Never mind.
It does. Yeah. Quake Champions was like Overwatch, and yeah. Anyways, that's Doom. Doom Eternal DLC 2. It's good. If you have any doubts of playing it, don't. And difficulty wise, it's easier than the first one, so you can go in with that knowledge. It's still pretty hard.
Hexen 2020.
Hexen wouldn't be. I'd be interested. Wait, it didn't make Hexen? Hexen was something else, I thought.
Really?
Hold on. Was
Hexen was Raven? Hexen was Raven and published by id.
So
developed by Raven Software and published by id Software.
Yeah.
Raven Software.
Raven Software is COD now, right, JERICHO?
Yes. Wow.
They're one of the big 3 COD people.
They do they help with the multiplayer and battle royale mode. So they run Warzone, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. I know we're due for a break. There was one last bit of news, not necessarily game related, but it is kind of game adjacent. The Blizzard execs that finally have gotten out of their non-competes are starting to make. They had already started making waves, forming different companies and whatnot, but now they're kind of starting to do their thing. One of them is making an RTS that I think they got around 10 million for funding in, and another one, Chris Metzen, who is kind of. He's the for the Horde, for the Alliance guy that you always used to see at BlizzCon. He is making a new setting for D&D, which is launching a Kickstarter, I think, later in April, which is from his own D&D campaign from the 1980s till now. He's basically putting that into a fully licensed D&D campaign, which is interesting. So I'm more excited for that than anything Blizzard has announced. It's their old execs actually doing shit and getting out there and finally able to work again after however long their non-competes were. So cool to see that type of stuff. I'll definitely have my my eyes on that, and we'll see where we go from there. I think we're good for a break. Any other things you guys want to news bits, last bits?
Rocket League just announced an iOS and Android game.
Is it just Rocket League?
It says Rocket League Sideswipe. Yeah.
Oh. Sideswipe.
So it's not... they have alpha gameplay and everything on their website or on RocketLeague.com. It got announced an hour ago.
Does it just look like Rocket League?
I have not looked at it.
Let me see. I'm curious. You can't really pull off Rocket League on a phone, right? Like that.
No, you definitely can't. Like I'm thinking about playing on controller. Like you just need constant input and A and B button, right? I guess hypothetically.
This is it right here.
This is it. Okay.
We'll see if it handles. Oh, it's 2D. Or it's a flat plane. It's like a fighting game plane.
Oh,
that's a smart way to handle that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, I could get behind this.
It's a great way to get people involved in actual Rocket League, right? Like mobile is arguably the biggest market in the world when it comes to video games. So
yeah,
that could be cool.
I don't think it's even arguably.
Dude, I don't think it's arguable. I think it is. Yeah, you're 100% right there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
God damn Monster Cat and your licensing agreements with Psyonix. I want some of that.
I want some of that.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, is this a night mode thing? What's happening here?
Want a piece of that.
Yeah. Let me just do an old refresh here real quick, see if there's anything else. I think that was kind of the last bit. Oh, the other thing, I guess Xbox Live is being renamed to Xbox Network.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sad to see that go after however long it's been. but like, okay, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Someone's got the door.
What was? Yeah, somebody just. No,
I don't know.
Nobody else heard that.
Oh, I heard that.
What was it?
There's a knocking.
Yeah, somebody was knocking.
Co, I think you got to go answer your door, wherever that is.
This is why I don't wear headphones.
Go figure out what that noise is. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk about all the games that we've been playing. And we'll have more drop frames, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. After this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in about 5. Good luck, Co, with that noise.
Thanks.
We'll see you soon.